Ooh, look at this, it's Sony Vegas, doesn't it look all so nice and cool, and there's a lot of buttons. I don't know what any of these sliders do, or MS Master, and that's a lot of files. Oh, there's a lot of files over on the side there. Floating points. What was floating point? Default. I don't know what it means. I don't know what any of it means. But for now, we'll deal with that later. Let's close this. Do you want to save changes? No, I do not want to save changes because this is going to be another quick video in Movie Maker. We are going to learn Sony Vegas because obviously we just bought it, but Sony Vegas is for the big, grand stuff that's coming next. This one, I don't know how to really do it. That's why I'm doing it in Movie Maker, because it's more or less talk about, even though it says insane reviews, and we are about to review Skyrim HD. I'm just playing Starbound now to give you some footage to look at while we do a kind of explanation here, because this is a very strange one to review, because it's not going to be like all the other reviews. It's going to be very scattershot. It's going to be very strange to talk about due to the things that Bethesda's doing and other companies like Sony are doing. So, you know, you'll think, oh, well, Sony did this and that impacts them negatively, and then, oh, but Microsoft didn't do that, but then Nintendo Switch, even though it's not out yet, did this. So I think the best way that we're going to go about this is to go through each version individually, like a quick look at each version, and then give like a summary at the end with a kind of final score, but not really, just because of how it, you know, all works together. Because each company, whether it be Bethesda or Sony or whoever, have been doing some scummy things to do with this particular version of Skyrim, and a lot of people have been saying like, oh, why did they do this? It was pathetic, and it was pathetic of them. And you know, you'd think that they learned their lesson from poking fun at each other. Like, Microsoft ripped Sony apart during the initial launch period for what Sony was doing, and then they quickly backtracked on it, because when a AAA company is getting shit-talked, despite all of their bluster, they're quick to backtrack if they know they're going to fuck up and lose sales. So let's talk about Skyrim, or let's review Skyrim HD. So again, I'll just be using Starbound footage and laying a bit of footage over the top when needed. So we'll go through the easiest version first, which is the Nintendo Switch. The Switch isn't out yet, but let's look at the Nintendo Switch and what the Nintendo Switch has to say. So we did see the trailer for the Switch, wherein a man sits on the plane and he is playing Skyrim on the plane, takes it home, and he is playing Skyrim. All well and good, except for the fact that this might not even be coming to the Switch, because as we know from many reports, and now confirmed reports, it wasn't just people making stuff up, it has been 100% confirmed from people within Bethesda, from people that are official news sources like the Wall Street Journal and such, that there is no Skyrim planned for the Nintendo Switch. It was there as a nice launch trailer piece, but no games from Bethesda or 2K are yet confirmed, so Skyrim may not even happen on the Switch. And to make matters worse, Nintendo has Sony's mindset for now. Again, it could all completely change, because we don't know what they're going to think, but for now, because the Switch is their baby, the Switch is very precious to them, they are planning, if any kind of game like Skyrim does come to the Switch, they are planning to not allow it to be modded, because as we know with things like Splatoon, Nikki got into the source code, Nikki modded the game to have Octolings in it, and once the Octo hacks were out, then there was shit to play. Nintendo didn't like the fact that their game was modded, they didn't like the fact that their entire system was modded. Like, for example, Lodine, they don't like this particular program because it is a modding program as well as, you know, a kind of hacking program that can give you free games if abused. Now, obviously, that second part is a very big issue, and I can see where Nintendo's coming from, but it's more for modding, and the fact that Nintendo despises modding, or despises modding on the Wii U, should we say, because we don't know if they despise it overall, but the fact that Nintendo despises modding on the Wii U and any particular game that has been modded or remade, like AM2R, is cease and desisted very, very quickly. So, if Nintendo is going to follow that track record, that means that if Skyrim HD does come to the Nintendo Switch, we can assume with a pretty good prediction that it's not going to have mods, and Nintendo will end up in the same boat as Sony when they were getting the absolute piss taken out of them by Microsoft via Twitter, when Microsoft was quick to tell consumers that the HD version of Skyrim on the Xbox One will have mods. Sony doesn't, because Sony doesn't care about you. Sony doesn't like you, but also Xbox, we do care. So, I really don't want Nintendo to go down that route, if at all. Now, obviously, the Switch isn't out yet, so that's about all we can say on Nintendo's matter. That Skyrim might not be coming. I think it's a foolish idea. It should definitely go to the Switch. And the fact that they may not allow mods due to things like AM2R, where they are highly against the idea of any kind of modding thing, or even, you know, like Nicky's Octo hacks, they are very against mods. So, very poor on Nintendo there. Let's just move on. Because now let's move on to the 3 versions that are out that we can analyse that do matter. And that is the PlayStation 4 version, the PC version, and the Xbox One version, and what Bethesda and their AAA counterpart is trying to sell to you, because it's not good. So let's start off with the whole HD aspect. I'm just going to break these blocks, and then I'm going to switch over to YouTube, because we have a YouTube video to look at, and as you can see down here with this little thing in films and TVs, this is my footage, and we will be comparing the two, because the first thing that Skyrim HD boasts, obviously, is Skyrim HD, the high definition aspect. Now, I've watched several videos to have a look at this and compare, because, you know, some people might not have good recording software. Like, maybe, you know, I'll watch someone, even they could have 100,000 subscribers, but they might not have the best recording software. They might just still have Windows Movie Maker, or like myself, it could have broken and they could be temporarily using Windows Movie Maker or some sort of capture device, which isn't good. So I've watched several people just to kind of compare my footage to everybody else's footage, and it's pretty much true what all the rumours were saying. So we're now switching over to YouTube, and we are going to switch over to the Bacon Creeper here, 2,000 subscribers. This is one of the best quality videos I've seen, despite the guy being fairly small. Now, as you can see, he is in a dungeon here, walking around, and I want you to notice that while walking around this dungeon, and yeah, we can clearly see from the walking around this dungeon, if we compare them, that is pretty much the same. This is me playing the original Skyrim, and, you know, if we were to compare here, if we go back to the dungeon and just, there we go, a nice lighting area like that, like, we can see the lighting here, so it's not even a lighting error. My particular lighting is far superior. Now, you could argue that it's somewhat the same. The flames do flicker a little bit better, but I can see every single scratch, every single cobweb on that wall. Here you're having about the same. Now, I want you to keep in mind, this here, this is the original Skyrim. This is not the remastered version. This is the original version. Now, I think I got a kill there. That's why it's doing that. But yeah, so this is the original non-HD version. We can see the flames flickering. We can see everything. And this is because the rumours were true that Skyrim HD is not all that HD. The only thing that they have done to make it HD is to take the mod known as Skyrim UI. Now, they might have made their own version of that. I can't confirm. It seems that the mod developer is being rather quiet on this, but they might have bought the mod, they might have paid off the creator, they might have made their own version with a slight change. But all this is Skyrim UI pasted over the regular Skyrim. It is not that HD. As you can see from my footage comparing the two there, it's just Skyrim UI. They haven't gone back and completely built it from scratch. They haven't got the trees and put HD textures over the trees and then rebranched the trees and all like this. It's exactly like Twilight Princess HD. It's all of the old models with a coat of HD paint via the mod Skyrim UI. Now, of course, this is not a bad thing. Everybody's like, Skyrim UI, it makes it look better, and you get DLC, and this is where the big problem comes in, because some people don't have a PC, some people want to play it on a console. I fully accept the fact that people want to play it on a console, and everything that the remastered version offers is great. You are getting the HD version, so you're getting Skyrim UI pasted over the top, you're getting the HD version, all the DLCs, so like Dragonborn and what's the vampire one? I can never remember the vampire one, because every time I want to say, like, I think it has blood in the name, and then I just get like Bloodstained, Bloodborne. I just get all of the other bloods that isn't the vampire. But you know, it comes with Dragonborn and the vampire one and the house building one, all in there, all packaged together. So you're getting the full complete package, the HD version, and the ability to add mods. That is fantastic for any console owner. You don't have to go through the Nexus. You can just basically like go onto the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store, find the mod you like, press subscribe. They're already installed into the game. You don't have to go through all of the... I'll show you. Let me just go to my D drive here. That's downloads, because obviously I was downloading the Sony Vegas. But let me just go to the D drive here. Like, you don't have to go to Steam Games, into Steam Apps, into Common, into Skyrim, into data, and like add all this. Like, you can even see there Pony Sword for like some of the mods I've got running, which we'll get to in a minute, because I know people want to hear about the modding issue. But you know, you don't have to go into all of your backup drives and add Pony Sword and add all of the other crazy mods like the Long War and the Becoming King of Skyrim into the data drive. You just subscribe to it via the Xbox or PlayStation Workshop. Bang, it's in the game, nice and easy. And for console users, for casual, and I really hate that term, by the way, so if you are a hardcore gamer and I'm calling you casual, please do not take offense to that. This is just the best way to sum it up. But for a casual console user that doesn't like PCs, doesn't want to buy a PC, they just want to put the game in the system, play the game, that is a fantastic way to mod the game just by pressing a subscribe button. So, all in all, it's looking pretty good. However, now we move to the big problems with Skyrim HD. That is what it's offering for the price points. Now, as we can see from my comparison here, all they've done to make it HD, like Twilight Princess, is put a HD texture pack over the top. That is, they just put Skyrim UI over the top of it, or their own version of Skyrim UI. And of course, it comes with all the mods and the modding support, all of the expansion packs and the modding support for $60. It is a full $60 retail price, and now we must go to Steam and compare the two. So if we were to minimize all of this, I've got Mercy as my background, and go to Steam here and go to the Steam store page, please, and put in Skyrim, we will be able to see the difference. So obviously I have got Skyrim Special Edition in my library, and this is for free, by the way. they give you all this, and it's got mixed reviews, and one of the reviews really speaks out. From what I've seen, this version of Skyrim is forced to use Bethesda's mod site over the workshop. Can't begin to play it, and it goes on. There's a lot of positives from people that are just now discovering Skyrim for the first time, but all the negatives pretty much sum up the biggest problem, that it forces you to use Bethesda's website over the workshop. People are already saying about card issues, and there's a lot of problems. So now let's talk about those problems, because I'm not going to go sit here and read through every single comment, because they're all pretty much summing up the same thing, and that is that A, it is way too dear considering the original Skyrim that I have got on my PC, the one that I am going to be constantly playing for the series, comes with all of the DLC, complete modding support, and Skyrim UI for half the price of the special edition. So if you want the HD version with all of that, you're paying about $30 to $40. If you buy just regular ass Skyrim and want to put the work in yourself to, add the mods via the workshop by downloading and putting the data, it's only $15. It's half the price. So why bother paying twice the price for when you can just put a little bit of effort in yourself? And it comes with the HD texture pack, and it comes with complete and total modding support, and it comes with all of the DLC as well. Now let's talk about the mods. Both Sony and Xbox have done the biggest problem, and I don't know who's ported it. I assume that it's Microsoft that have put it on Steam, because even though it's like Bethesda, it's a PC game, so it runs on Windows, so they're gonna have to, I assume, collude with Microsoft to make it run on Windows. So while it's Bethesda that's put it on Steam, it's got to run a .exe, which is like a Microsoft Windows thing, so I'm assuming that it's Microsoft that had the final say on how this works. And that is, both Sony and Microsoft are restricting mods. So any mods, as I said, you just go via the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store to Bethesda's little modding store page website thing. You click the button and you click subscribe. It's all very nice, neat and tidy. However, mods do two things which are very, very scummy and very shitty, and that's what got people in a tizzy. Let's just go back to Starbound so you've got some footage to watch. And the problem is that the mods themselves, A, are only limited to the mods or the assets in Skyrim. So, for example, if I were to get my footage again, let's just bring my footage up here and spin through it, we will eventually come out and we will find Princess Luna. There she is. Where was she? There is Princess Luna. Now, I'm using this as the biggest, jarring issue. She is clearly not in Skyrim, and her asset clearly doesn't match anything in Skyrim. I kind of hate the movie maker thing here because it doesn't work, but that model clearly doesn't belong in Skyrim. It's a mismatched asset, and because it's a mismatched asset and not from Skyrim, this particular mod is not allowed on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One or the new PC version. You're only allowed, if you are a mod creator like my friend Flick, you are only allowed to use assets that are already pre-built into the game. So, like with Fallout, if you want to have the Randy Savage Death Claws, or, just change them to Randy Savage Dragons, you are not allowed to do that. It is not allowed. Randy Savage is a asset that is outside of the original asset pool, therefore it's not allowed onto the PlayStation and or Xbox workshop. I mean, I know it's Bethesda's workshop, but I think PlayStation right now has got 64 and the Xbox One has got 123 from what I last looked up. Even though it is Bethesda's workshop, some have got to be compatible with PlayStation and some have got to be compatible with Microsoft because it's a different operating system, if you will. So while it is a Bethesda workshop that you're taken to, it's exclusive to PS4 or Xbox One. It's like their personal workshop with the particular mod formatted to work on that console. But yeah, so any assets that are not in Skyrim are banned from the PlayStation or Xbox or original Bethesda PC workshop. And that's got a lot of people very annoyed. Like, the whole idea of the open source code for Skyrim was to allow any kind of crazy, ridiculous mods, whether it be ponies, going Super Saiyan Dragon Ball Z style, summoning Genova's Meteor from Final Fantasy to just absolutely decimate a village, adding anything you want. It was your imagination. As long as you could program it, you could code it, and you could find and or create the assets yourself, it was free reign. And that's what made Skyrim so popular. That's what allowed Skyrim to thrive and become one of the best-selling games of this generation. That's how it got the HD remake, because of its popularity, because of the open source code that allowed anybody to do absolutely anything they desired with the game. Now, implying this restriction leads to a lot of negative reviews, but it doesn't stop there on these mods, because not only can you not add whatever you want, you are restricted to the assets that are in the game, but if you are to boot up the special HD version of Skyrim, when you boot it up, you get an option. Do you want to play with mods? Yes or no? If you select yes, all achievements are disabled. All fun in the game, any kind of, achievement or story or anything like that is disabled. And this is the thing that people are pissed off about the most. I have got a lot of achievements. We're going to go to my achievements in Skyrim now. I've got a lot of achievements yet to get. I've got some of them in fun, creative ways. If we are to find Skyrim, which I'm not even sure is the Elder Scrolls, if we are to go to Skyrim and click this open so that we can view mods, let me pick one that was rather enjoyable. One that we've got, stored back there that was rather fun. And that was not buy a house. Discover 100 locations. Now, you've probably all seen the skooma glitch in Oblivion, where if you get, I think it's 700 skooma, and you drink 700 skooma all at once, and you take the restriction off so that it's not limited, you can jump from one side of the map to the other. So with Discover 100 locations, we can drink 1,000 skooma, we can jump from location to location to location, and we are flying, and it was fun. That is an achievement that was got via modding. And it was stupid, and it was fun. Now you can't do that. Now you're not allowed to do this crazy skooma jump, because it won't get you the achievement, because they're locked. And that diminishes the enjoyment for people. The whole reason why some of these achievements are gotten and will be gotten via mods is because they're normally quite boring. Like the Eye of Magnus, for example. In the Eye of Magnus, we will have to face a boss. You will have a magical barrier, and elemental attacks will not work on him. So if you were a mage, you cannot cast fire magic, it won't work, and trying to break the barrier with your sword is a very big pain in the arse. Now, would it not be cool to defeat that boss by turning into a Super Saiyan and beating the shit out of him? I know several people that are into Dragon Ball Z. They are enjoying Xenoverse 2. I mean, to me, it's just the first one. They polished up a few things, but it's just the first one. Be honest, guys, it really is just the first one. Again, they're just selling the first one to you. But regardless, they're enjoying Xenoverse 2. They adore Xenoverse 2. They're fans of Dragon Ball Z. And they've got the Super Saiyan mod. And it's funny to turn into a Super Saiyan and punch a bear halfway across the land. Or it's funny to turn into a Super Saiyan, punch a guy and watch the normal soldier disintegrate in front of you, because it's ridiculous, it's stupid, and if you're recording a series for YouTube, it's entertaining to watch. But now he can't do that because if you turn Super Saiyan and punch Magnus, I'm sorry, but punching Magnus as a Super Saiyan means you can't get the achievements, so you're gonna have to start the game again without mods, play through it properly, the boring way, the way that nobody likes to play it, but play through the game properly without mods, and then defeat Magnus fairly, properly, without mods, the boring way. And that is what kills the HD version, because restricting achievements, or restricting the achievements when mods are turned on, considering how long this game is, and considering how boring this game can get without mods, no. Just no. Okay? Just stop it. Just fucking stop it. Now, this is where I'm going to kind of do a final verdict, and this has been a bit of a ranty ramble thing. But as I say, via the comparison here, that everything, if we go back to the dungeon, let's just go back to the regular-ass dungeon somewhere without the lock. That'll do, just the lighting. I hate this movie maker. I should have opened it in the VLC media player if we were going to be 100% honest there. But if we were to go back and open this and again compare the two, the final verdict is a tough one. It's basically, if you've got a PC, I can't recommend this. I cannot recommend the HD version at all, because it's just the original version with Skyrim UI and extremely restricted modding capabilities. Like, the modding is so restricted, and the fact that achievements are disabled when you're using them, it's just not fun. It's not fun whatsoever. I mean, if you don't care about achievements, go for it. But if you're like me and you care about the achievements, but getting them via mods is really funny, then you're not gonna have a good time. And if you've already got Skyrim, there's no point. If you've already got Skyrim on the PC, then there's definitely no point. I can't recommend it. If you've got Skyrim on the PlayStation 3, I mean, you're not allowed to get the achievements without mods anyway, and the HD. I mean, to me, Skyrim UI, the Nexus built one, almost looks better than the AAA one. I think my version, like, I can see each line in that wood there. I can see each little splinter in that wooden stick. So, honestly, I think Skyrim UI looks better than the HD texture pack that they've come up with, even if their version is some sort of rickety version of Skyrim UI. So, yeah. I can't really recommend it to anybody. Now, is this to say do not buy it? No, not at all. Midnight, I have two people that I know, which is Midnight and Scribbles. They have both got toaster PCs. They loved the original Skyrim, but ended up getting rid of it for different reasons, and now they're rediscovering it. They're enjoying it, and it's like, yeah, okay, you're enjoying it. And if you are wanting to discover Skyrim for the first time and you don't have a PC, I would fully recommend getting this if you are wanting to discover it for a first time and don't have the PC. But for all of you consumers that are thinking about getting Skyrim, I want to say this, okay? The PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version is incomplete. It's extremely restricted on mods. It's not all that HD, and your experience of the game might be held back by certain aspects that Sony and Microsoft and all the other AAA publishers have decided to put on it. So if you want a completely unrestricted version of Skyrim, this is why there isn't a final verdict, because this one really does come down to personal preference. It really all is on you. I can't personally recommend it. Midnight personally can. So it is really dependent on the person. All I'll say is, if you've got a PC, it's much more, I would more recommend you buy the original with all of the DLC for $15 and do all of the modding yourself via the Steam Workshop, because you'll have a lot more of an enjoyable experience. You'll be able to get the achievements with the mods on, and you'll be able to see ridiculously crazy mods like the Pony mod, like the Super Saiyan mod, that are not assets that were originally found in the game, and you'll enjoy it a lot more. Whereas the HD PlayStation, Microsoft ones, extremely restricted, only allowed to use mods that have got original assets, not allowed to get achievements with mods on. The HD honestly doesn't look all that good, and it is double the price. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Skyrim HD. It's okay at best. If you've got a PC, buy the original and do the modding yourself. It's far more worth it and far more enjoyable. And I don't condone Bethesda's behaviour for actually allowing Sony and Microsoft to put those restrictions on them. I don't condone Sony's behaviour for actually having those restrictions in the first place, because they are absolutely fucking stupid and backwards and archaic. And I really don't condone HD remakes. That's for another day. Like, I'm happy that Crash is getting a remake, because that's something that kind of didn't need to be remade, but Skyrim's a generation old, and this is why it's for another day. Because Twilight Princess was on the fucking Wii. Twilight Princess was on the Wii, okay? Wii U had backwards compatibility with the Wii, and it's not like they even added anything. They added one dungeon if you put the dog amiibo on your thing, but why did it need to be remade? It didn't. Twilight Princess is the stupidest HD remake I've ever seen. And the fact that you can still play the original Wii version on the Wii U, so that's just kind of like AAA saying, wow, these people are so fucking stupid. They can still play the original Wii version on their Wii U, but those dumbasses will pay $60 for the game again. It's not really HD, it's just a fucking HD texture pack. We've changed nothing, we've only added one extra dungeon, which is a really stupid, shitty dungeon. Really, you're just paying for the goddamn amiibo, but hey, you dumb bastards will pay $60 again, even though you literally bought it last fucking generation. So yeah, I can't completely condone HD texture packs. So Skyrim, it's a Twilight. It's not a Crash situation where it's like 10 years old and it'd benefit from modern technology. It's not even last generation. It's barely last generation. The PS3 is still viable, and while they are now ceasing all production of PS3 and PS3 games, it's not quite over till the end of the year. So it's not even a generation old, but you dumb bastards will pay for it again though, won't you? Yes, you will. So that's my thoughts on Skyrim HD. I can't recommend it, but you might enjoy it. So it is completely personal preference. I know this was a weird review, but that's the only way we could review this. It's completely personal preference. It depends what system you're on, because obviously if you're on a PlayStation, or if you're on an Xbox, you're not going to get the same experience as if you're on a PC, because even the HD version on the PC, while they say you can't use mismatched assets like ponies, obviously you've got ridiculous hackers, ridiculous programmers that will be able to get past that loop, will be able to get things like Super Saiyans and ponies and all the other stupid shit onto Bethesda's store, because they can do it, because they've got, keyboards to program bypasses and things. So each console will have a different experience, and each person will have a different experience with it. If you wanted my personal score of Skyrim HD, knowing what I know about the game that I am playing as a YouTube series opposed to the HD version, I don't know. It's a 2, maybe a 3 out of 5. It's an incomplete, extremely inferior version of the original version, which can be modded for half the price and doesn't have any kind of restrictions whatsoever. It's just AAA being a corporate cash grab. So yeah, my personal opinion it's a 2, maybe a 3 out of 5. It's not going to be on my top 5. It's not going to be on my bottom 5. It's just like, hey, it's not bad. It's pretty cool. And, you know, if you're discovering it for the first time, it's there. But, you know, it's again, different consoles, different people. I can't really give an analysis or a proper review on this. So that will do for the Skyrim review. I am going to get back, because as you can see, Camtasia is open. And I'll just quickly go over the Colour Splash review. So let me just reopen my D drive here. So each part of Colour Splash is separated now, because what I had to do is I had to separate each piece. So before I uninstall it, because I've done so much work to it and I don't want it to go, but as you can see, each part of Colour Splash is now in 27 parts. So I've just got to go and refinalize all 27 pieces, and then so I'll keep giving like Twitter updates. I'll say like 1 of 27 finalized, 2 of 27 finalized, and once all 27 are finalized, I'll try and glue them all together in Camtasia and then save it as a full project. So I'm going to like finalize and save each piece individually, so it's 27 parts long, and then I'm going to glue them all together. So there is one more Camtasia video coming, which is the Colour Splash one. But yeah, that's how Colour Splash is working. I have saved the project, it has been recovered, and now it's just about trying to separate it into its 27 different pieces, finalize those 27 different pieces, and then kind of like save them individually and then paste them all together. So yeah, I'm probably going to work on that, and I've also got the Skylanders Academy to do. I've got several clips from Skylanders Academy, which is the worst thing I've ever seen, and I know a lot of people might be looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to watching Blizzard buy Activision, because Jesus Christ, Activision, you're making more bad mistakes. And you know, the second that I said, and I just want to quickly bring this up before I end, but the second I said stop fucking up Activision or Blizzard's going to buy you, they released Rise of Iron, which a lot of people are very displeased with. Like, it wasn't what they expected as the very final chapter. You know, this was supposed to be the bit that ends off Destiny 1 and leads into Destiny 2, because apparently they're working on a sequel. This is your high note. This is your grand finale. This is your ending chapter. And that's what you give people. So a lot of people are not happy with Rise of Iron. And then obviously Skylanders Academy was released, and oh boy, is that fucking bad. So yeah, please keep fucking up Activision. I mean, after seeing what I've seen in Skylanders Academy, I'm still kind of watching through it right now. I'm up to like episode 5, although I have seen the infamous Crash Bandicoot episode where Crash Bandicoot talks. That's all you need to know. Crash Bandicoot talks, and it's not even it's Australian, and I know I'm going off topic, that's why I'm going to end. But you know how Crash is supposed to be Australian? You'd think they'd actually get an Australian actor. They don't. They get an American and or English actor. Hard to tell because he's putting on an accent. But it's literally like this. It's an Australian, it's an English person or an American person doing an Australian accent, gamma. You know, Boomerang Dingo Barbecue. I'm just going to go up the old Billabong. And it's like, oh, Jesus, that is a fucking terrible impersonation of an Australian. And that's not me calling myself a terrible impersonation of an Australian. That's how bad it is. It is literally just some American or English man being like, oh, go up the Billabong and feed the dingo gamma, because I'm totally Australian and this is totally an Australian accent, mate. It's like, oh, no. So yeah, that's going to be the other one that goes up alongside Colour Splash in the next couple of days. But that one, obviously I've got some effects, and we're going to learn Sony Vegas for the Academy. So Skylanders, what a way to start using Sony Vegas. What a way to learn how to put effects on Sony Vegas with one of the most deplorable, horrible fucking shows I've ever witnessed. So yes, that's the review of of Skyrim, and that's the what you've got to look forward to, is watching me just drink myself to death because of how depressed I am at the things that I did in Skylanders Academy. So thank you all for watching this pseudo review, and if you enjoyed it, then please do feel free to leave a like. And after Colour Splash, normal reviews will now be, all the reviews will be on Sony Vegas, and they'll all be back to normal and not like this. So yeah, but thank you all for watching. If you did indeed enjoy the video, do please feel free to leave a like. It really does help the channel out if you want to see more content. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and as always there are links below to all my stuff like DeviantArt, Twitter and Patreon if you want to go the extra mile. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one.